Hey guys, welcome to MMA Insider, where we talk about anything and everything related to MMA. In this video, we will look at Nate Diaz gets into a brawl again at UFC 281, and Dustin Poirier calls Chandler a dirty fighter. At UFC 281, Nate Diaz and Dillon Danis had a physical altercation. Diaz, the most sought-after free agent in combat sports, attended the pay-per-view event at Madison Square Garden. With a submission victory over Tony Ferguson at UFC 279, the Stockton native successfully fought out his UFC contract. Following his triumph, Diaz hinted at a possible shift to boxing among several other undertakings that he wanted to pursue. The Schmo broke the news first on Twitter. Hearing Dillon Danis and Nate Diaz got into a scrap at the Garden. Waiting for the video. #UFC 281. Dillon Danis rose to fame after assisting Conor McGregor in preparing for his rematch with Diaz at UFC 202. Dannis' decision to assist the Irishman in his quest to revenge his submission loss at UFC 196 impressed the Stockton slugger as a risky move on Dannis' part. On Twitter, the two have had multiple back-and-forth exchanges. Diaz, the ever-confrontational fighter, got into a brawl with a Bellator MMA welterweight at UFC 281. Diaz can be seen slapping one of Dannis' teammates in the video, triggering a brawl. It's unclear whether Diaz was able to land anything on Dannis before the situation was de-escalated. Because of Diaz's feud with McGregor, Bellator fighter Dannis has gone back and forth with Diaz over the years, as the pair each have a UFC win over each other and have long been expected to meet in a trilogy battle. In the footage, one member can be heard pleading with Diaz not to cause any trouble by noting that his kids are here. UFC boss Dana White reacted to the incident by stating, "That's a shocker, really?" The thing was that this event has been sold out for a while, and Nate called last night wanting 6 tickets. We didn't have 6 tickets to give him, so he ended up figuring it out and got some seats. I went over and talked to him tonight. It's all good. Every time they show up, I expect something to happen. Not much bothers me anymore at this point. But this is not new. Infamously, Diaz and Conor McGregor traded water bottles at UFC 202, which cost the fighters money. The Stockton star and his group also disrupted the UFC 279 press conference by hurling projectiles at Khamzat Chimaev. Do you guys remember the backstage brawl during Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva? While the problem child was getting ready for his bout against Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz's team got into a backstage altercation with Jake Paul's entourage. Diaz attended the event to support Chris Avila, a teammate who competed against Dr. Mike on the same card. Both teams were separated before the conflict turned into a full-fledged brawl. One of Paul's teammates said that Chris Avila started the altercation. During the altercation, the Diaz squad threw drinks and other items. Logan Paul claims that a security guy injured himself after allegedly slipping on a drink Nate Diaz threw. On a recent episode of BS with Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned pro boxer spoke about the altercation and said, "Nate Diaz is a problem maker. He causes problems everywhere he goes. They got into 3 fights at the club this week in Scottsdale leading up to the fight. He just wants to fight random people, bro." Paul further added that Diaz's action made him lose respect for the MMA superstar. "Before you decided to fight my crew, it was all respect. But now it's personal and I'm going to F you up." What do you guys think about Diaz and his crew? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. For our next story, Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier were seen having a heated chat after their UFC 281 battle. Many people are still puzzled by the terrible incident that occurred between the rivals. At the UFC 281 post-fight news conference, the Diamond discussed the heated chat with the Iron. According to Poirier, he reprimanded Chandler for fishhooking him during the altercation. This is what he had to say at the post-fight conference. "I told him this is my house. That's what I told him. This is my house. That's it. And I told him he's a dirty mother effer too, for putting his fingers in my mouth and blowing his nose. It's all good." Michael Chandler was observed pulling on Poirier's mouth with his fingers during his second round of the fight. However, the former Bellator lightweight champion said that it was an honest accident when speaking with the media after the fight. Dustin Poirier defeated Michael Chandler at UFC 281 by rear naked choke submission after experiencing early resistance from his opponent. The exciting fight received the Fight of the Night bonus for the event. The Diamond responded to a question regarding why Chandler couldn't perform a rear naked choke on him. This is what he said. "It's just getting choked. Getting rear naked choked in 2 world title fights will make you tuck your chin a bit tighter next time when you're in that position. That's what it is. Living and learning and working my defense with Michael Brown and getting better." Poirier lost both his title fights at UFC 242 and UFC 269 against Khabib and Charles Oliveira, respectively, via rear naked chokes. Do you think Chandler's actions were justified? And how would you rate Poirier's performance at UFC 281? If you like our content, make sure you subscribe and we'll bring you the latest and most interesting MMA stories. What do you guys want to see next? Tell us in the comments below.